So just give me time. Let me just let to start the recording. Okay, first guest I'll be introducing this evening is Bodunde. I call her my coach. Bodunde Onemola is a program management professional and a leadership coach with over 12 years of experience in international development, public health, and stakeholder engagement. She's led large-scale donor-funded initiatives across Nigeria in areas such as clean energy, tuberculosis control, health system strengthening, and climate finance. Our portfolio includes work with organizations such as Adam Smith International, the Clinton Health Access Initiative, and the Busara Center for Behavioral Science. Odunde holds a Master's of Public Health from Columbia University and a BSc in Biology and Psychology from the City College of New York. She is known for delivering results in complex environments by aligning government, private sector, and development stakeholders towards sustainable outcomes. In addition to her work in development, Bodunde is the founder of Clearwater coaching practice focused on helping mid-career women reconnect with purpose and direction. She's a certified coach through the Maxwell Leadership Team. Bodunde, thank you for giving us the privilege to be here this evening. Welcome. And yes, the next person here I'll be introducing is Tony. Yes, Anthony Okpero is a passionate advocate for leadership and personal effectiveness. As a lead facilitator, has lectured a premier leadership and personal development academy and the convener of the Lead to Lead initiative. Anthony is on a mission to empower youth to embrace self-leadership, encouraging them to become solution-oriented and internally driven. A dynamic public speaker, teacher of God's word, and entrepreneur, Anthony helps individuals discover, grow, and excellently deploy their leadership capacity for global relevance. His rich experience across corporate, social, and religious organizations has positioned him as a respected voice, mentor, and authority in leadership development. With a strong background in management, leadership, and data analytics, Anthony integrates cutting-edge technology with powerful communication to deliver impactful learning experiences. His leader, whose support continues to inspire his journey and mission. Driven by a deep commitment to authenticity, Anthony challenges individuals to strive for excellence without compromising their identity or truth. Once again, Anthony, good to have you here. Welcome. And
Thank
then
you
I
so
have
much.
Anita. Have a very committed, dynamic, and well-oriented professional with an MSc in hospitality management from Robert Jordan University, Scotland, and BSc in business administration from the University of Uyo, Nigeria. Possesses over 6 years of diverse work in social care support, proven track record in managing teams, optimizing customer satisfaction, and driving operational efficiency across sectors, including retail, logistics, and aviation. Currently serving as a part-time supervisor at Crossreach, a Christian charity in Scotland, where she supports individuals in recovery from addiction, demonstrating strong interpersonal skills, empathy, and a passion for impact-driven work. She's now strategically pivoting into the hospitality real estate sector with a keen interest in hotel and Airbnb ventures, areas in which her academic training and practical management experience strongly align. Additionally, she is preparing to launch a large-scale agricultural initiative in Nigeria aimed to contributing to food security and economic growth, passionate about sustainable development, people-centered leadership, and creating ventures that are both impactful and profitable. She loves God and enjoys being in the company of friends and family. Anita, welcome. Thank you for the privilege to be here today. And last but not the least is El Manfred. Okay, so El Manfred is a Nigerian-born American, is a singer-songwriter based in Ohio, US. He has been nominated for Best Gospel Act consecutively at the 2012 and 2013 Marlboro Awards. Additionally, he has won the Scottish New Music Awards twice. He grew up singing in a local church in Nigeria and Some of his popular songs include Ado Kara, Bendo, Ado Kara, Bendo Wana, and that man from Galilee, Ubo Kumfo, and Jehovah. El Market is a passionate worshiper and a devout follower of Jesus Christ. Welcome, El Marfrex. Amazing people we have
Thank you.
today. Yes. So reading all your portfolios, something stands out. The fact that you all are doing a lot when it comes to leadership and influencing your world. And today, our topic for today says it's dreams and imagination. Okay, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Am I clear enough? Okay,
I
B,
guess
are we
that's
here?
what make do, yeah.
Yeah, we can make out what you're saying.
Okay, but can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
Anita, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I
Okay,
can.
great, great, great. Okay, so so we're going to be, like I said, we're not really asking questions. My dream and I will give opportunities for people to share their stories to inspire others. We have a lot of people out there who actually feel that, their dreams aren't valid. They are too old to start their dreams. They are not in the right environment to live their dreams. And I actually believe that dreams are God's gift to humanity. And if God gives you something, then it is for the use. It is not to go to waste. But today we're talking about something very interesting, imagination. Growing up as children, I remember with my many imaginations, I have people laugh at me and make me feel like, Vanessa, like you can build a house with your talk. And this was me just saying the things I was saying in my mind. So I grew up actually thinking that imaginations are just mere wishes. They're never to be, it's not something you should even think of counting on or bringing to life. But of late, I begin to see that imagination is not what we think, and that everything God talks about, if God ever says a thing, then that thing is useful. If God can tell us in Ephesians 3:20 that He will do exceedingly abundantly more than we can think, ask, or imagine. If God can say something about imagination, that means it is not just a mere wish. If God is willing to give you beyond what your mind can carry, then it's not a mere wish. But today I want to be hearing from all of us. The good thing about every one of you who God has placed in my heart this month to bring on this panel is I've had one-on-one discussions with all of you, and I know that you all have been able to bring some things in your spirit, in your mind, to life. Some things you imagined that came as just thoughts and ideas, and you find it coming to life. And so I believe that it wasn't a mistake that you all are the ones who are going to be here today speaking to us. So I'm going to be, like I said, it's not just going to be about question. It is me just calling you up to just tell me what do you understand about imagination? What are you going to be telling the world today? What should people do about their imagination? What should people do for their children about the imagination they come to talk about? How do we manage imagination? These are just questions. This is me just saying, while you have been working through your different parts in your profession, in your career, what role did imagination
Vanessa, can you hear me? You're
in
breaking
all
up.
of this? And I'm going to be throwing my first question to Borden Day. Now, I'm going to say I have B is my coach, B is my therapist. I am doing this today because I met the likes of Bodunde, had a moment with Bodunde this year, and I find myself doing this. And if there's somebody that inspired me to begin to imagine again, is Bodunde, and I know that Bodunde has a lot to say about imagination. So Bodunde, this evening, the world wants to hear that which you have to say about imagination. What do you think is God's idea of imagination, and what is imagination for the believer, and how is imagination going to help this world grow? So, Bodunde, over to you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Great. Hello, everyone, and thank you for logging in today. And it's an honor to be here. I feel like Vanessa has asked me to has asked us panelists to solve the world's problems, and I don't think that's possible. So I'll give my little tidbit on what I understand. But before that, maybe just a little bit about myself, because probably want to be hearing from, probably want to know a little bit about the person. Okay, can everyone else? Okay.
Bobby, you're muted.
No, I'm not. Can you hear me, Vanessa?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so maybe it's Vanessa's network. Should I wait? Vanessa, do you want to try logging off and coming back?
Why does it feel like
Music Factory is speaking?
it's talking? Yeah, but we can't hear anything.
No. I wasn't talking to you guys. I'm also streaming it, so I'm trying to let them. People are asking questions. What's happening? Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Close the door. Sorry, close the door.
I think obviously it's our network in Nigeria. So I don't know if you're gonna have to continue. I don't know if she's recording it, if so that we're just not
She
in limbo.
is. It wasn't. I mean, what do you guys say? Continue.
So I feel like if it's raining in Nigeria at the moment, there's usually this thing to like network. But I feel like if we give it a bit of time, it should get better, and then we'll see how it goes from there. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give her maybe like 5.
Say 5-10 minutes more. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
It rained.
Sorry, guys. Technology. Technology issues.
Mm-hmm.
You can relate.
It rained a lot today, so I guess it really affected the network coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need to start imagining good network. What about it? We'll attract it and call it what?
Excellent. Oh, good.
Okay, guys, I just spoke with Vanessa and she says we should go on. She's trying to relog in. So we'll just anchor, we'll just have a discussion. We'll have a conversation. So I'll start and then everyone else can just also answer the same question. I think the question was, what is the role of imagination? And also linking it to how does God see the role of imagination in the life of the believer? So I had started off with saying, first of all, just like Vanessa had given this grand introduction, but like, yeah, that's for the gram. So let's get real here, just so that you're understanding a little bit the background of the person that's speaking. I just wanted to do a little more of a more personal introduction. And again, thanks to Vanessa for creating this beautiful space, my Dream and I series, where we can speak about dreams. I don't think that there's a lot of places that put emphasis on the dreamer, and imagination, and I think that it's an important conversation to have, because as we get older, the ability to dream and the value that others place on dreams is not seen as useful. And so I just thank Vanessa for having us all here to discuss dreams. Again, my name is Bodunde Onimola and I wear several hats, but in this season of my life, I think what I'm wearing primarily is my hat as a life coach. And so I coach at Clear Waters Co., which I founded. And at Clear Waters, my goal is to work with mid-career women, especially, who, despite their accomplishments, find themselves feeling unfulfilled. Women who have lost connection with their purpose, who feel like they don't have the ability to dream anymore. And so this series is very, very in line with what I personally do. I help to connect women. We connect women with their purpose, because we never lose our purpose. We maybe are just not in connection with it anymore. And find purpose, or we discover purpose, find courage, and so that they can live a joyful life, which is the life that I believe that God has intended for his children to have, even in this fallen earth. Yeah, so this, as I said, this series deeply resonates with me and my purpose. And my purpose, just, in a few sentences, is to help people see, believe, and become the best version of themselves. So seeing first starts with imagination, dreams, seeing something beyond what is currently there. So definitely this series is, it touches, is in line with what I love to speak about. Before now, I was, as Vanessa alluded to when she was reading my bio, I was working in international development in Nigeria. It was my dream job, to be honest. After leaving school, it was something that I wanted. I worked for, I hustled for, used all my connections to get into. Started working off in the place I wanted to. I got the place I wanted to work at, and continued there. But after just a couple of months, I just found that there was some numbness about it. Like on the outside, everybody would look at me and say, "Oh yeah, she has a pretty good life. She's ticking all the boxes, all the things that make a successful life seem to be in place." But inside, I just felt I felt empty and like there was something missing. And for years, I would try to like, I would say, okay, maybe if I switched career, if I switched position, if I switched the program that I was working on, if I did something different, slightly different within the same field, maybe that would help me. And yeah, I would switch, and for a while it would feel exciting, and then after a while, go back to being, feeling numb again. And so remember one incident, I was driving to work in the morning and I was crying in my car for this job that I had wanted. I was like, oh God, I don't know that I can continue with, I don't think I can continue with this thing anymore. Is this all that there is to life? Surely there has to be more to my life than this. And after that moment, and with a series of other things that happened, which I call divine coincidences, that led to the beginning of a better story in my life, a journey of faith, imagination, and alignment. And that's what I call my journey to clear waters. So a place where I could see clearly. Again, as I said, my purpose is linked to helping people see. And first starts with using the mind's eye to see what is in you or what has been put inside you already. And so when we speak about imagination, so I try to define it just so that we're also so we're understanding what, because different people might have different understandings of what imagination is. So first, maybe I'll define what I've written down as a dream, and then go into imagination. So I think that a dream is a mental picture of the future that you hold in your mind's eye, and it is something aspirational that you want to do, be, or have. So other synonyms of a dream could be a hope, a vision, an aspiration, a goal, something that's future focused and inspirational. So a dream pulls you forward. And when you think about it, it both excites you and scares you. And a dream doesn't exist in your current reality. So it's in the future. And then imagination, on the other hand, as I see it, is God's given ability to picture what doesn't yet exist. So while a dream is a mental picture, I feel like the imagination is the lens which you can zoom in on that dream and see different aspects of that dream. So you can go into that. The imagination is the tool that God has given us to go into the dream and examine different parts of the dream. And it's where we begin to flesh out what is a dream. Is usually just maybe hazy, like a big picture, but you start to break it. Imagination is a clearer picture of that dream. And yeah, so those are my definitions, and happy to hear other people's definitions on that. I feel like I've spoken a lot, and Vanessa is here, so I'm going to hand over and then just ask her to redirect the conversation. Yeah, Vanessa, you're muted. Vanessa, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. It's shaky, but we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, B. Thank you for the definition you gave on dreams and imagination. So, with what you've explained, you cannot separate imagination from dreams. With what you've explained so far, you cannot separate imagination from dreams.
Right. Yes. No, you can't. No, you can't.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So okay. So thanks for the definition you gave of dream. Can you hear me? So with what you've explained, you cannot separate.
So you're echoing.
So I'm glad we've heard. Can you hear me now, B? Explaining, giving us a definition of dreams and imagination. And the next person that will be speaking to putting imaginations to real, brought their imaginations to reality. And young people, and as a younger person, you have more, power to imagine than when you grow older. Like even as the Bible said that the old men will dream dreams, and people will be wondering, dreams meant for those who are sleeping. But basically, Tony deals with children and with young people, and we know that young people always have this wild imagination. So I'll be hearing from Tony. Tony, please tell the world the power of imagination and how it is linked to our dreams using your story. Tony, I hope you heard me.
Yeah, thank you
Lost
very
again.
much. Can you all hear me loud and clear? All right, great. Thanks once again for this opportunity. I'm really, really excited to be speaking to us. Okay, so I'll just I'm sorry, I'm not doing definitions or trying to do any presentation. I'm just going to stay and share my story because I like telling stories. So let me start from when I I was doing my NYC as a good Christian brother who graduated with a good result, and I had this dream of becoming a top top IT professional. That was it, a top IT professional. And I won't lie to you, the reason I wanted to do that was because of the money in IT. I mean, back then it wasn't this sweet, but there was just this thing with being in IT that I just wanted to be there, right? So I did my NYC, and somewhere along the line during my NYC, I got caught into this passion for leadership, right? I remember during my NYC, that was when I started studying on leadership, reading leadership books, and God was teaching me a lot about leadership. I could literally draw out leadership lessons from almost anything I read. Yes, but somewhere in my mind, I know it is one thing to have passion, it is one thing to have a dream, it is one thing for you to know that this is what God is showing you. It is another thing to actually walk the walk. Okay, so I finished my NYC, I got a job, and I started working as a programmer. Yes, work was going fine. We're doing the work, having results. I was traveling here and there, making presentations, introducing our softwares and all of that. It was doing good. But after some time, I discovered that there was this dissatisfaction, right? There was something in me that was literally dying, meaning that I could sit on my system and work for hours and make good programs, have results, but a part of me was dying, and that was the part that had passion and had interest in people development. I saw myself that I enjoyed a relationship with my system rather than enjoying my leadership, my relationship with people. I wanted to communicate with my system more than I wanted to communicate with people. So I discovered it, and something started telling me something fundamental is dying. Something fundamental is dying inside of you. Yes, I knew I'm called to be a people's person. I'm called to influence. I'm called to teach. I'm called to affect lives. But like I always say, sometimes the cares of life comes and reality shakes you, and you begin to um, even doubt what you know you should be doing. Why? Because of you have bills to pay, you have expectations to meet, and all of those things. So, but I had this thing was pressing so much, and at some point, I made a decision, and I think it was one of some people say it was one of the most stupid decisions I ever made, but for me, it was one of the most courageous move I ever made. I decided to resign from my first job after graduation, just less than a year into the job. And what was I going to do? I said I wanted to, I wanted to do what God was asking me to do. I wanted to, oh my God, I wanted to reach out. I wanted to bring that part of me back to life. Now, yes, I wouldn't say it was easy doing all of that, but the thing is, sometimes God just takes you through a journey. In your journey to having dreams, having vision, one of the things I know God always tends to do is to help you become an image of that thing that He is showing you. He wants you to first become that person before you get to that position or that picture you are seeing as a dream, or you're seeing as that imagination. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. There is a process where God has to make you and has to form you. Since that time, even up to now, right now, I work as a data analyst. I'm back into IT. When I resigned my job, I went into people development. I went into administration. I went into leadership development. I went into church administration. Totally different from what I studied in school. I had people who said things like, so we spent a whole lot of money for you to learn computer science, and now you're telling me you're raising people, you are learning people development, you're learning leadership. Who leadership pay? Who teaching pay? Who public speaking pay? So many kind of talks came all around. But there's something I've always held on to in my life. Wherever I find myself, whatever situation I find myself, I always ask myself this one question. One of the most important question I ask myself. I always want to know, Lord, am I in your will? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I positioned where you want me to be? And once I hear the yes, it doesn't matter what people are saying, doesn't matter what anybody's doing, no matter, doesn't matter how I'm feeling. Once I know I am exactly where God wants me to be positionally, I am fine, because I know that His thoughts towards me, they are of peace and not of evil, to bring me to a good and expected end. Right? So there is that experience for me, and so far so good. This has helped shape my thoughts. It has helped shape the pattern of my seeing life, right? So when God gives you a vision, when God says, this is what I want you to do. When I think about this, I remember the story of the Tower of Babel. I remember when God told Abraham, He said, look and tell me, what do you see? Count the stars. It says, as far as your eyes can see. All right, said then he talked about making him a father of many nations. But before God made him a father of many nations, He made him a father of one. Right? Before He made him a father of nation, He made him a father of one. So there is that vision. I know many, especially young people, we get to catch things. We tend to catch pictures. We tend to catch a lot of things. Please, 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 whatever God is pressing you, whatever you are having as a vision now, or as a dream or an imagination, write it down. Don't let it die. Write it down. Don't let it die. You may not have all it takes to bring those things to life now. But trust me, if you stay in the journey, if you stay in the journey, if you stay in that journey, sometimes what you may be doing now may not directly relate to what you want to actually do. But trust me when I tell you that that thing you're doing now, even if it's not what you want to be doing, it's going to be leading you to the thing you should be doing. Believe me when I tell you that. Believe me when I tell you that, because when I look at my life right now from the picture I can see, every step along the way, every step, every so-called diversion that took place, it is now coming together to form the richness of who I am today and the things I am able to do. So it is so powerful that God wants us to hold on to that picture, because it is that picture that really drives us. The Bible says, sorry, I like to quote Bible, don't be angry. Bible says that for the joy ahead, Jesus endured the cross. Yes. So there is something about the picture of the future that helps you go through the process, that helps you become. Let me stop here before I start talking too much. Hello, Vanessa, are you there?
Okay, maybe we can have the next. Thank you so much,
yeah.
Anthony. Yeah, so maybe Otobong, is it, or Anita? I know she was she calling you Anita? I'm not sure.
Call me Anita. Yeah, that's
okay.
my
Okay. Anita. Okay.
Okay, I'll just introduce myself. Anita is my name. I think Vanessa has done all the introduction. Do I really need to go into all of that again? Okay, my name is Anita Otobong. I'm currently in Scotland. I came to do my master's some years back, and as God will have it, opportunities came forth. I stayed back. I'm currently into hospitality management. I'm a mom of two, a Christian. What else do I need to say? I think that's basically it. But let's delve into what really is the topic for today. So since Vanessa has said our area of emphasis is the scripture, because I like to base whatever we're having discussing about today, which is the scripture. She says it's Ephesians 3:20. So I'll just like to do a quick read on what that scripture of the Bible says, and then I'll take my discussion from there. So it says, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask of or think. It's that's what it says. So what this says to me is there's God is saying I'm able to do whatever it is you ask or think. He's actually saying he can do more than you ask or think. And he's saying I'm sufficient. I have that abundance. All I need for you to do is ask. All I need for you to do is think and say it to me. So the next question would come to mind is, what are we asking and what are we thinking? Because if God is saying to you, I am able to do way, way more than you can ask of or think about. So the next question we should be saying to ourselves is, what are we asking? What are we thinking? Because God is saying, whatever your thoughts are, whatever you're asking, I'm able to do way more than that. So it gives a picture of you have a child and you say, you know what, let's go to a toy shop. When you go to the toy shop, just pick whatever you want, say it's the child's birthday, and the child, oh, yippee. And then the child goes to a shop, and because daddy says pick whatever he wants, he just comes with, say, a Minecraft toy or a Roblox toy or one of those toys. Do you get what I mean? And he goes, oh, that's me. I'm fine here. Do you get? And then mommy says, is that all you want? And he goes, yeah, I'm okay with that because I don't want to finish daddy's money. And then there's another child who goes into the toy shop because daddy has said, pick whatever you want. I have the money. I'm here to pay for you. He actually says to the owner of the stores, you know, I'm going to take all the toys in the warehouse. And I don't even think you have some of the toys that I need. I'm needing you guys to probably call the manufacturers or call the people and say, I need this kind of toy, and I'd like to have it delivered to me. It's all about mindset. One child is about, let's just take little from here. And the other one is about, I want as much as I can get. So that's what God is saying to us right now. Don't limit me to your little thinking. It's saying, as far as you can think, as far as you can imagine it, ask me, and I'm able to do that for you. So it brings us to our everyday living. Sometimes we want to dream dreams and we're like, oh, that's too big. It sounds scary. It sounds unrealistic. But God is saying to us today, make it big. If it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. I'm all sufficient. I can do everything you ask. All I need for you to do is just ask me. So it takes us back to saying, are those dreams scaring you enough? Are they big enough? Are you asking enough? Is that something that you think is too big for God to do? No, it's not. God can do those things. Now, I'll give you a personal story for me, right? 2 years ago, before I've come to Scotland to do my master's, I do not have shishi. I had in mind, I wanted to go abroad and do my master's. I had schooled in Nigeria and studied. I was supposed to take 4 years. It took me about 6 to 7 years, inclusive of strike and all the here and there's, if you get what I mean. So I said to myself, I wanted to do my master's, but I'm like, you cannot estimate how long you're doing a master's in Nigeria because you don't know all the factors are going to come in. So in my head, I've imagined I'd like to go do my master's abroad, get a professional certificate abroad and all of that. But at the top of my head, shishi, I know, get how was I going to get that? How was that going to happen? It scared me at the time, but because I had dreamt about it, I had imagined it. I think like the power of my thoughts positively found a way to make that happen for me, if you get what I mean. So somewhere along the line, I applied, I got admission. Issue was now how to like get visa fees, pay school fees, blah, 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 blah. And at the time, my school fees in Nigeria now was like 36 million. For somebody who did not have 2 million, where you go see 36 million? Do you get what I mean? Like, Anita, how? But somehow, I like to think that because my thoughts had already paved the way for me, that found the way it happened. I was able to attract like favors. I was able to attract like cash gifts and all of that. And for some reason, that became a reality. I was able to attract those positive thoughts into my world, and it was a reality for me at the time. Now, growing up, my dad would always tell us to read this book. There's a book called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I don't know if anybody has come across the book The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's a book that is really, really like, after reading that book, my mindset about things changed because it taught me to think big thoughts. It taught me to think positive thoughts. The book talks about how your thoughts can attract or magnet corresponding events into your life. For instance, if you're thinking constantly positive thoughts, your realities will end up being positive. Ability is more like saying law of attraction, but in a different light, if you get what I mean. How you are able to curate positive thoughts and bring them to life in your everyday events. So having read and understood that book, I was very conscious about positive thoughts. As human beings, there's that tendency for us to be negative in our thoughts, like, oh, this thing no go work, I doubt to get, because we are humans. But then if there's that consciousness of rebuking yourself every time it comes and you're like, no, it's going to work. Like, with God, this can't work. This will work for me. Constantly and consciously, you're making a conscious effort to stay positive in your thoughts, positive in your minds. I think we are able to curate or attract the kind of end result we will get. So one thing I've done that has worked for me over time is vision boarding. Like at the beginning of every year, I like just write out the things I would like to achieve for myself, or I put pictures, I would like to do this, I would like to do this, I would like to do this. And then at the end of each year or each quarter, I tick off what has happened on my vision board. It's like the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, so that whoever sees it can run and read it, if you get what I mean. So 2 years ago, when I first did the vision board, I realized that at the end of the year, I may not have achieved everything, but it was a step in the right direction. I was able to achieve, say, 60% of all the things I had on my vision board, right? And then last year, one thing that was critical for me was I had a vision board of one particular thing I really wanted so badly from God. And as God will have it, it was just not about having it as a vision board and writing and putting them out. I was positive about my thoughts. I was able to consciously attract it, and that became a reality for me. So the summary of what I'm trying to say is, if you can think it, you can curate it into your world. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Anita. That was really, really powerful. Sorry guys, I'm just stepping in until Vanessa is able to come back, if that's okay. So hand over to Music Factory. I don't think I remember your name. So if you could just remind us of your name.
Hello. My name is El Mafrex. I'm a gospel singer, rapper, gospel artist, basically, and then I have some other side gigs that I do. It's nice to meet every one of you, and I'm so excited that Vanessa found me worthy to join the panel this this day. Imaginations and dreams and all that. I think I would just try and share from my own perspective, and like when I was in, I think when I was in university first, because I finished from University of Uyo in Nigeria, and when I was around, I think my either third second semester, year three or final year. I remember my classmates, we had this veranda that we loved hanging out, like just before any lecture. And sometimes they always they knew me in the department as the musician, like. And so once in a while we'll have all these discussions. So what are you going to do after university? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And whenever it gets to my turn, I'll just say, oh, mommy, I'm not caught up for this Niger. Or I'm not gonna be in Niger. I just used to say it. And I come from I would say, I come from an average home. So it's not that when I used to say these things, I had like a plan. I didn't have a plan. I just used to confess. I'll just say, that once I'm done, like when I'm done from uni, I'm gonna leave Nigeria and all that, and probably study. And I just used to say, so I said it over and over and over till one day my dad overheard me telling one of my friends, like he was dropping, and he was like, when the guy left, my dad was like, so you is it that your plan is to leave Nigeria when you're done and all that? To me, I was just laughing. I was like, it's just me thinking, I'm thinking out loud, but I didn't know anything. And if there's anything that has worked for me, like the Bible says that there's so much power in our tongue, the things we confess, especially as Christians and as believers, like the whatever you say, even as a parent or like I know how cautious my mom and my dad were while growing up. They don't say some things to us because they know there's so much power. Like that child is misbehaving. You don't call that child stupid or foolish because you don't want that to be to manifest in the child's life. So I picked up on all these things, and I just sometimes I'll just walk up to the mirror. I'll look at myself. I'll start telling myself, man, you're gonna be spreading the gospel of Jesus through music and all that. And I just used to say it without having any concrete plan. So I guess at that point, I was just dreaming. I was just dreaming, I didn't really have that imagination yet. So when did this imagination come in? I think after when I was now eventually done with school, and in my neighborhood, because I grew up in one small town called Eket in Akwa Ibom State. So in my neighborhood, like you're walking along the road, and then someone stops you. My friends, your friend he has traveled though, you know. So and here am I, a teenager, and I'm just like, because I finished uni quite early. So I'm like, everybody's traveling. But so that made me sit down. What do you want to really do? It's not about leaving my job. What is your plan? So that 2007 was really a defining year for me. So I had to sit down, and boom, I just started applying to schools. I went to cyber cafes. Not like today that we, like the internet is. I went to cyber cafe, sat down, and I was just applying randomly to schools. And then I got the lady Otto Wong, you're in Scotland. I got admission from a school in Scotland, Napier, and that's how I left Nigeria. But when I got to Scotland, I was like, music is what I love to do. How do I start? This is this boy that grew up, roaming the streets of Eket. How do I get out there? And then one day, I'm just in my living room I'm watching BBC, and then the Mobile Awards come up on TV, and I'm like, my flatmate is with me. I'm like, hey, Namdi, Omo, these not the kind of awards we would attend though. I just said it casually. I just said it casually. I had just submitted my dissertation, so I was just like, but these are the kind of words. So this was again me dreaming. I didn't have any platform then, because I mean we can all testify. Masters in the UK can be very, very challenging, especially when you're coming from Nigeria with all the, trying to blend in. But eventually, I just said that to my flatmate. Fast forward 1 year later, um, I just noticed my phone is buzzing. I check on Twitter, boom, I had been nominated for a MOBO Awards. MOBO is a music of Black origin. And this was God doing more than what I had even dreamt of. Because my dream was just to even sing round Scotland and all that. And that 2012, you know, when it happened that particular year, Mobile decided for best gospel, they were gonna check up all the regions. That's Wales, England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And boom, when they came to Scotland, I had just won Scottish Music Awards. So why am I bringing this up? It was like a dream, but God made it possible because the first thing is to dream. And when you dream, you now confess it with your mouth. As a child of God, you speak it. You say, yes, this. As at then, it was like a big thing for me because I was still a very young man, still trying to find myself. So it was a big deal for me. Coming from Nigeria, boom, everything, the whole thing, everything happened so fast. And my flatmate, what to remind me, guy, say you talk this thing just some months back. You said this thing, and this has happened. Like I don't want to go through, so I don't drag this. How everything, like me meeting, I went on, like I saw an advert for a talent show called Gospel Rock, and I was just like, should I go on this show? And I'm like, yeah, the big boy, yo. I've, for for Nigeria, I know they go any talent show now. UK here, where I won't go talent show. But I was like, if you don't go on this talent show, how would people even get to hear you? And I went, even though I didn't win, I got to meet people, and that's how I was now able to start recording. And before I left Scotland, I had a song that even got to number one on the Christian charts there in Scotland. So um when you dream, guard your dream, guard your dream, and then after guarding that dream, God will help you. Because I so much believe in the Holy Spirit and how he inspires us, and because that's what actually separates us from the ordinary person who is just dreaming. As a Christian, you have a big, big, big advantage because that's what separates you from the world. You have the opportunity to download directly from God. So um, you just have to dream and then listen to hear from God the direction that you need to take. And like that Bible passage says, he would even do, and he would exceed your expectations and even do, the thoughts of your heart and all that. So I think I'll just stop here for now. I don't think I made sense.
Amazing, Mafrex. I didn't want to miss you. I didn't just want to miss, but of course, I know I'm going back to listen to everything. But amazing, amazing. Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Well, I can. Yeah.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
but you're muted now.
Vanessa, you're still muted.
Okay, she just sent a message. She'll try and rejoin. Thank you guys. I've been really inspired hearing all your stories. She sent me a bunch of just follow-up questions that I can just ask. So she says, how would you define or describe intentional imagination versus mere wishes? So if you were to differentiate between intentional imagination versus mere wishes, how would you, what would be the difference for you? Let's start with Anthony. And okay.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So, so if we were to talk about intentional imagination as opposed to mere wishes, so I would say having an intentional imagination is having a purposeful form of imagination where what you're thinking and what you're creating is directed towards a particular purpose or vision or a goal, towards achieving something defined and something smart in capital letters, something smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So when you think on those things, I can say they are intentional imagination. And also, um, I can also say they are thoughts that are patterned towards growth, right? Like I remember scriptures coming to my mind now. It's when it talks about things that are pure, peaceable, gentle, things that has the characteristics to bet out um your fruit and what you want to achieve. I can call that intentional imagination. I can also say it's an imagination that is in line with your journey. That, for example, you cannot be living a lifestyle a certain way and be having imagination that one day I'm going to be great, and you have habits that you know is the opposite of greatness, and say, oh, they say we should imagine Abi. Let me just imagine myself being rich and you never get a job. Let me imagine myself being the best footballer, but you never want to go to the field. You never want to practice. You say, sure, they said imagination is powerful. I want to imagine myself as the best speaker in the world. You are imagining yourself speaking to 10,000 people, and you think that's wishes. If you want to imagine yourself putting in the work that will get you the results. There's an illustration I love so much. It was said by a basketball coach. He said, when you're playing the basketball, stop looking at the scoreboard, get your head in the game. All right? Don't look at the scoreboard, get your head in the game. Because if you're busy looking at the scoreboard, you never play the game. So having an intentional imagination is a purposeful form of imagination that goes into your journey and will help you become what you have set out to become. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Anthony. So yeah, what I took away from that is, so is the dream, the vision, backed up with like a plan, good habits, action, not just the vision plus action. Anita, do you have anything else to add on?
Maybe to just buttress what Anthony has said, I think like the difference from the two would be that one is very active and the other is very passive. So your intentional imagination is you're intentional about it. You're doing follow-up actions to secure the required future or outcome you want. That's you being actively involved in that imagination. Whereas mere thinking, you're just you're passive about it, like, oh, it's a mere thought. I wish I could do this. I wish I could have this. I wish I could get this. Whereas you're active, or will I call it, what was the word again? Intentional imagination is that you're acting intentionally towards getting your desired outcome. So for me, the two will be that one is very active and the other one is quite passive. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Anita. And then El Mafrex. Anything else to add on to that?
I think they basically said it. Like, for example,
Okay.
when I said like I told my flatmate, this is the kind of stuff we would be attending. I
Mhm.
didn't just say that and decided to, and just wait for it to just happen. Voila, I decided to go out there, even though it was not comfortable for me. It's not something that I like to do. I put myself out there. I went for that competition and all that, even though I didn't win, but it provided me with a platform for me
Mhm.
to, build. So, which when you just, your imagination, if you're just wishing, it just becomes a mere wish, but when you have a process to it, when you begin to walk towards it, that's you being intentional about it. So I mean, it's the same thing we're just saying again.
Yeah, thank you. Let me add on to that as well, maybe. So again, I think we're all in agreement that it first starts with the dream, like the vision, the dream. It always starts with that. And I think that even the vision itself, as I think one of the definitions that
Yeah, I'm
the
here.
definition of imagination I had was that it pulls you. So even housed within the dream
Can you hear
itself
me?
is the hi, Vanessa, we can.
And
Okay, carry on.
Okay. So housed within the imagination. So this the imagination is the action. So it's inspirational. So inspirational speaks of a pulling effect that draws you. So I think that if you're even intentional about the way you're dreaming, if you're intentional about so there's an exercise I do with my clients where we go into their future. We sit down and we go into like where are we? Go into your house, and then I tell them don't don't. This is a tool that you have to continue to you can make it set a time aside every day to dream. Get into your future and use your imagination to enter all the rooms of your future house, of your future job. Go in there. So I think even in the intentional reminding yourself of the dream, I think Anita pointed out vision boarding is another way to keep on reminding yourself, because the dream itself will push you into action. So yeah, just wanted to add that the dream itself has the ability to push you into action. Vanessa.
I'm here. Okay. Can you hear me?
yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so I don't know what my network is doing today. Never had a bad network like this, but I'm just glad that there was a flow. And this topic is actually very, very important to me because growing up as a child, I'm one person that has a very wild imagination. And I knew how much more I actually had to go through when I say a lot of things. Like I just say a thing, I imagine a thing and I say it, and people get to laugh. Like, when I say, where is this one coming from? And before you blink your eyes, 1 year, 2 years later, you see exactly those things I'm saying. And my imaginations were not just mere wishes, they were strategic things like solutions, things that could, for instance, like I remember, when MTN, Airtel, network providers came to Nigeria, and my dad had two phones and with two SIMs, and I was like, Daddy, why are you carrying two phones? Like, ain't your wrist paining you? And my daddy just felt, Vanessa, I wished that this is how it should be. I said, no, Daddy, they can actually make one phone with about two to three things. My daddy said, no, that this is how it comes. It's one phone, one SIM. I said, please, when I want to start using phones, I'm not going to struggle carrying two phones. I hope by then they would have made a phone with two SIMs. And then he laughed at me and said, please, just go. But at the end of the day, today we have phones with three SIMs. So basically, I was someone who imagined when I see people suffering about something, I just imagined a better way for that thing to be done. But every time I mention that better way, people laugh and say, ah, Vanessa, you're so lazy. Vanessa, you just like that thing. But somehow, I just discovered that as I grew older, I wasn't, those capacity diminished because it was like I was just talking, it was like mere wishes. But growing up and seeing what China is doing today, I just realized that maybe if I grew up in a culture like China, I would have been an innovator. They would have accorded a lot of things, good things they have to me because of how my mind works, how my mind thinks of the fastest solution to something. So that is why this topic is very important to me because I know a lot of people who have stopped imagining. And I'm glad you people address difference between mere wishes and imagination because a lot of times, people just, oh, I imagine if I just get 10 billion now, imagine if I just get 10 billion. Instead of imagining whether you just get 10 billion, why you not imagine a solution that can actually bring you 10 billion? That's strategic imagination. So wishes and imaginations are two different things. So when this is very important because there's a new generation of young people coming up, and a lot of us we became mature, saw those things that we imagined in the past, saw people living it like normal, and it dawned on us that they were not just mere imaginations; they were actually truth that we could live through. But because of the environment that we are, but we don't want to let the next generation suffer same. We don't want to see our children say things and we laugh at them, we mock them, or make them feel like they were just wishing because they are children. But we could actually help them channel this their imaginations. This thing you were saying, okay, let's sit down and see the possibility of that which you were saying and how we can bring it to life. If we can do that, I started imagining being an author at 14, but I actually released my first book in my late 30s. If there was someone who saw me as a younger person when I always talked about wanting to be an author, it didn't just end as a wish. Somebody helped me say, okay, it's possible to be an author. This is how you go about it. I would have done better. But because, when you say you want to be an author, you want to be like this person, people laugh because that person has gone so far. But this person who went so far came from somewhere. So that is the importance of today's this month's topic, imaginations. The aim is that people wake up, people realize that those imaginations might be like mere wishes, but how do you turn it to strategic imagination? How do you turn this thought in your mind? Because if it has entered your mind, then trust me, it's something God can do. Things don't just run into your mind. Things don't just get into our minds. The Bible said it is God that gives wisdom for witty inventions. So when things come into our minds, they aren't just mere imagination, but the environment we find ourselves, the person we're talking to, and what we're listening to matters a lot if these things can be bettered into realities. So I would want to encourage everyone out there, if you have a child who imagines a lot, and if you too have imagined something in the past that you feel you've outgrown at the moment, please go back to it. Until we go back to our fantasies, we might not be able to see, okay, this thing that was supposed to do. Some of us are even living those imagination, but because we're not strategic about it, so we can't even give account. We can't even tell that that thing I used to see in the past, this is what it is today. So I see the likes of Mafrex. I've known Mafrex for over about maybe 2 decades. And I saw I looked up to Mafrex back then in church in Eckhart, like the passion he had for singing and how he really wanted to sing and all of that. And from that time, everything Mafrex saw was a star boy. And I remember in my mind, Mafrex was a star boy, even though he was still within that confines in Eckhart, but I saw him as a star boy. And today, Mafrex is doing what he has always dreamt of. The picture he saw, and he dressed the part. Manfred's dressed like the star guy we're seeing today. Back then, Manfred would always stand out in his dressing and in his thoughts. He would always stand out, and I see him today living this dream, and I'm so excited for him. And then Anita, of course, I knew Anita back in school. Whatever Anita is living now, I've seen Anita strategically move from one level to another. Whatever she's living now, I've seen her move strategically from one level to another, and there is nothing she's living now that is seeming strange to me. I just if you see her jumping into more and more and more. Because from time, I remember when she went from Miss Business, Anita was a very shy person, but in her shyness, I saw a woman that had a clear picture of what she wanted. She was she was going there as a winner, and she came out as a winner. And everybody around her could see beyond her shyness to see the dogged that picture she had of being a winner. That we didn't have a choice but to see her as a winner. And in all of us, she saw so much that she could put it in our heads. And we all saw it until it came to reality. And be my dearest therapist, I'm doing this today because someone like Bodunde had a time with me this year and helped me realize where I'm standing on right now. Help me realize how much, like B told me that I've never seen someone that is self-aware like you, Vanessa. And she has to remind me about some things. And then I'm like, yes, I used to say this as a child. And she said, Vanessa, let it not just be like as a child again. Go back to your imaginations. Because it turned out to every imagination you had as a child are your realities of today. I'll visit Tony. Yes, I've known Tony for a while. And seeing Tony today, I'm just smiling. Because back then when I see Tony sitting in one small office, I didn't see him as someone who's going to sit in the small office. I saw someone that was going somewhere. I saw someone that was going to address the world. And today he's doing that. And yes, if I could see it that time, that's the that Tony saw it enough to show us the picture. Anything you can see, why did the Bible say, write a vision and make it plain, that they may run and not faint? You can't even write out something you don't say. Until you see it, you can't write it out. Until you see it, you cannot put it in your vision board. Until you see it, you cannot explain it. So that's the power of imagination. We cannot claim that we have dreams that we cannot even explain, dreams that we cannot capture. Like there's this new thing that is going on now, Chakam, like it's a trend, and I just look at it and I laugh. How something happens and somebody just captures it immediately. Yes, everything that puts out the picture, everybody can tell, yes. So when 10, 15 years from now, people can always say, that's this boy don't always be like this, so and all of that. So I am so excited about this month's title. The network has been crazy, but I'm glad that there was a flow and it is recorded so people can also go and watch. I see a lot of people going back to their imagination. I see a lot of people going back to their wells of imagination to pull out those things they think is fantasy is not. As long as, now look at your imagination. If it is something that has a solution, if it is something that glorifies God, that brings solution to humanity and gives you fulfillment, it is not a wish. It is not a wish. It is an imagination, that it is a dream that you need to imagine, visualize, put out there. So you can even, when you put it out there, you attract the right people, you attract helpers, you attract burden bearers. So without imagination, you can't even attract people. Investors will ask you questions. Investors will want to see you do presentation. For those of us that are professionals, presentations are imaginations that you put into pictures and videos to present. Write-ups in pictures, videos, and you're able to present. So if you're presenting and it's just write up, you bore people. Why do we do PowerPoint and we put the bullet points? It's called PowerPoint because you put the bullet points and you put pictures and videos. People just see the videos and pictures and they have a clear picture of what you're talking about. But if you just write, they might struggle with it. So it just tells you the power in everything we've done in our lives. We're even using imagination, but we didn't even know. We have made imagination look like mere wishes, but the truth is our everyday life is driven by imaginations. So I'm encouraging us, thank you all my speakers. Like I am going back to watch this because I was hearing bit by bit of your stories, and man, I know that people need to hear this. People need to hear it. So we are gathered every month to talk about bringing people who are able to tell their stories. A lot of people are not even proud enough to tell their stories. So I appreciate that you people accepted my invitation to stay here and tell your stories. I am really, really excited, and I am glad that you all showed up for me. God bless you all for joining me to pull this through. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Bodunde. Thank you, Mafrex. Thank you, Tony. At 8:30, our time is up, but I'm glad we pulled this through despite the network challenges. And I want to encourage every one of us. I'm still looking forward to see us do more and more and more. But one day, I'm looking forward to you bringing all those imaginations to bear. I'm here. I'm rooting for every one of us. Mafrex, I still see more awards and awards. Anita, I still see you. Your dream of bringing agriculture solutions to Nigeria. I am waiting for it. I'm rooting for it. Tony, I am here to see you climb greater stages to speak to the world, because a lot of young people need to listen to you. God bless you all again. Once again, this is my Dream and I series holding every month. And the month of May, we talked about imaginations and dreams. Look out for next month's episode. God bless you all. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you, everyone. Thank you. It was nice meeting you all.
Guys,
Yes, you guys.
Bye.
bye now.
Bye-bye.